why you have to speak up, and that's why you have to identify yourself. Because even if we had the names out in front.
Yeah, I watched the last live stream, and I watched some of the county council and other things. It is very difficult to see. Chris Kellner, BCS Management, talk. Please use your name. Please talk just the first time. So during the live stream, that's captured. You don't have to keep repeating who you are, treasurer. You don't have to keep saying that. And then I would still go with Chris Kellner this, and then if it's a vote, we're gonna just be very clear on who said what. I'm making the motion. David Reeves making the motion to do this, and then second, Joyce Grimble second. That'll just make it very clean and easy for anybody live streaming or watching the live stream.
Okay, it's 4 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. First item of business, approval of the April 9th, 2025 board meeting minutes. I'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved. David Reeves. David Reeves, member. So moved.
Joyce Grimble, second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion to the minutes? All in favor of approving, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes. Next up is our bank balances.
The money market has $42,510.89. The maintenance account has $7,913.14. And the operating fund has $139,205.66.
Thank you. Admin report from BCS.
Chris Kellner, BCS Management. So as Joyce just explained, the funds are in a good spot. At the month end of April, it was $190K. So we're in a good spot there. Claims were higher this month. A big portion of that was the $20,000 for the North Lift Station repairs that are happening and that pump being replaced, which Tom, I'm sure, will talk a little bit about. That was the main expense there that bumped things up. Again, we've been tracking the USIC and locates expense. There was a lot of activity this last month, 56 tickets, $1,000 roughly. We are on track with the budget. Again, we're running under a budget right now. Live streaming still going. Thank you everyone for sharing your name as you talk and making sure you speak while the mic's on, and then you turn the mic off when you're done. Thank you for doing that. Let's see. As far as new connections go that I'd like to highlight is Amy Kading brought it to our attention that there were two, this past month, there was one user who was a non-metered user who installed a meter and then sent a picture of that and proved they had a meter and said, I would now like to be billed using a meter, and here's the start of the meter. So nothing's happened yet. The billing won't catch up till next month. That started the conversation of, do we allow metered users anymore? I mean, I thought we stopped doing that. So I reviewed the ordinance, and I couldn't find any evidence saying that there wasn't a reason someone couldn't be metered. It gives both. It provides for both metered and non-metered. so if that is in a resolution or an ordinance somewhere, I just need to make sure it's available, it's online, it's very clear. Here's who can and cannot be metered. Prior grandfathered in metered users, fine. New users, no. So then their neighbor is not a connected user, wants to connect and wants to be metered. And so they're starting that process of inquiring. So again, all this from Amy Canadian, still trying to figure out exactly what to do there. I reached out to Dan Taylor and Tyler Nichols as well about that, so we can discuss once we have that information. The web traffic and the website, not a bunch of updates here really, other than we did add a section to the publications page of other documents. That is a place to store like archived or old ordinances. So if there is an old ordinance that did allow for metering in the past, but now the new ordinance does not, we would archive that old ordinance there. So we migrated everything from the in.gov site to the other website, just so it's all conveniently located in one kind of single source of truth for the district there. That's all I got.
Thank you. Next up is maintenance report. Tom Asbury. There you go.
There we go. Tom Asbury with Asbury Water Technology. So for the month of March, which is the most recent month submitted to IDM, treatment plant continues to operate in full compliance, operating quite well. All the pollutant removal percentages were above 97%. Average daily flow 48,000 gallons a day. Maximum flow 80,000. Minimum flow 35,000. So yeah, we've enjoyed a very long period where the plant has been operating really well, and haven't really had any pre-treatment issues that, like, you know, if you go back a year, we were having, you know, some issues with some of the things coming in, and we really haven't had any issues with that. We are here in June. We're scheduling the OEM. This is at our cost, of course, but Aqua Aerobics to do a training seminar so we can get even more of our staff trained on the plant, increase redundancy and that kind of thing. So those are all good things there. As we mentioned during the last meeting, we've gone through a spate of pump issues. Fortunately, we haven't had anything further with that, but we do have some pump repairs that we need the board to approve. Right now, you know, during that spate of issues, without having any spare pumps, kind of due to the austerity measures, we do have several lift stations just operating off of one pump. You know, they're meant to operate off of two. And when we had those issues with the North Lift Station in early April, we did have to borrow both of the pumps from the South Lift Station 1B, and that happens to be the lift station where Nucor Towers is going to be tying into, and they're going to need to be. I don't know what their timeline is on discharging, but that represents an additional 25 EDUs for the sewer district. So, yeah, we need to get these pump repairs approved by the board. Again, our rule of thumb is 50% of the cost of new. If it's over that or at that, that's really when you kind of look at scrapping a pump. These flight pumps are, you know, they're engineered products. They're, you know, they're well-regarded pumps, so, you know, sometimes you can afford to be a little bit flexible on that. But for one of the pumps, the cost was $6,715. Again, that's below 50%. And then the other pump was $7,361. So the combined cost is just a tad bit over $14,000. And for reference, the most recent pump, the new pump that was purchased was a little bit over $18,000. But if you wanted to get that approved before I go on to the next part of the report, I leave it to the floor. I didn't know if somebody wanted to make a motion.
So, what is your recommendation for the replacing or repairing? the solution is either to buy new or repair, and what was your recommendation again?
Yeah, for these two pumps, I'm going to recommend that they be repaired, given.
Yep. We've heard the recommendation from Tom for the repair of the pumps with a cost of approximately $14,000. I would entertain a motion.
David Reeves, I move that we repair the two pumps that are needed that Tom told us about.
Rick Morrison, member, second.
We have a motion and a second, motion and a second. Is there any discussion regarding the repairs?
I got just one question. So these are pumps that are not being used right now that are going to be repaired for spares, basically, then?
Well, we're going to have to reinstall them immediately, yeah, to get lift station South 1B back up and running.
South B currently doesn't have a,
It currently does not. It doesn't have any flow going into it. That's the lift station that we mothballed. We had some other repair items that we just put on hold until it was necessary to restart the lift station.
so once you have these going, then we won't have any spares, but we'll have everything running.
We'll still need two more, but to get it all up to snuff, but nothing immediate. This is, yeah, and I'll go into that here in a second.
So you'll go into discussion here in a little bit regarding what to do next about getting
The other
backup
two.
pumps? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes. Thank you. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, going on to the next item, there was one of the other pumps that Indiana Pump Works quoted $13,000 to repair. That's significantly over 50% of the cost of new. We instructed them that to go ahead and scrap that pump. As part of our investigation into some of the protocols that we need to employ with the, looking at cost savings, we got with Flight about options. So the pumps were originally spec'd as non-explosion proof, which really in these applications, these lift stations, is not necessary. And they were the most recent pump purchased, and not to make this confusing, but as we discussed during the previous meeting, the new pump that was installed had an issue due to the VFD setting that Xylem had. They went ahead and we did a conference call with them. They stood by the full warranty. They reinstalled it at their cost, no cost to the district. But to give you a frame of reference, a new pump under the existing specs is a little bit over $16,000. The non-explosion proof version is about $750 less, so $15,500. And we got with IPW, there's another brand of pump, a Liberty pump that they represent, that there's a flange, Flight flange adapter that will allow it to be used in these lift stations. They're willing to provide those pumps at $11,000, and these are all new. So we do have those options available to us, and IPW, they're a respected company. We do quite a bit of work with them, and we do a lot of work with Xylem as well. But they stand by the fact that the Liberty pump is an acceptable substitution. So that a new pump $11,000 versus $16,000. I don't have any. I think it'd be fine to try that out. As a cost saving measure. With the pumps that you guys just approved to be replaced, we're all up and running and we're good. But we still need to purchase two pumps to get everything exactly as it should be. So yeah, that's where we are on that. There was one other pump that was removed that Flight quoted $9,200 to repair. Again, I think that's probably something that we want to instruct them to scrap if we can buy a new Liberty pump for $11,000. So it's really up to you guys on how to proceed with that. We could wait until the next meeting if we want to gather more information. But yeah, sorry, I know it's a lot of moving parts here.
Well, it could be worse. We could need the pumps and not have the money when we've been there a lot.
Right.
And so, I didn't mean, go ahead, Greg.
I just was gonna question on 11,000, you're saying, is that adequate, but then it's saying with the flange, is that flange with that price?
Yes, that includes the flange price.
And do you feel that that adapter is an acceptable thing? Is it solid, just, there's no issue with using that? And have you got any experience within your other facilities using that Liberty pump?
We've used the Liberty over at Taylor, and it's only been about, it's been less than a year. We haven't had any issues with that. You know, it has the full warranty and everything, and IPW they have stood behind their products. I guess maybe what I would recommend, if with the district having the resources, fortunately right now, would be to go with one of the Flight explosion-proof pumps for $15,500, and then also doing a Liberty pump, and so we can keep those Liberty pumps kind of segmented to the State Road 32 lift stations, and keep the North lift station and the South lift station existing on the Flight pumps. So that'd be 2 pumps total. I guess that would be my recommendation on that.
Did you say that we didn't need any explosion-proof pumps, or we do need one?
We do not, yeah.
So why would you get an explosion-proof pump?
This one's not explosion-proof. This is it's $750 cheaper to go. It's the same exact model pump.
Without the certification?
Right.
Perfect, that's what yes.
Yeah.
Just a financial note and discussing kind of where the funds would come from. The repairs, the pumps that are being repaired, those are not capital asset purchases because we're just maintaining existing pumps that should be there. These redundant pumps that we're talking about buying here to get the lift stations so that they have 2 pumps would be capital assets. They're over $10,000, that's the policy. And a useful life, 7.5 years is what we book for accounting purposes. The fund, again, has $42,000. We're about to spend 20 out of it, so to have 22. We are expecting Nucor to pay their capacity fee of $18,000. That has not been confirmed yet for that new expansion. That would cover it, but if we spend $26,000 for 2 more pumps, that will wipe out and then some $4,000. But that's the purpose of the capital fund, right? Is to be able to make these purchases. But we will wipe out the capital fund if we spend the $26,000 on those 2 other pumps.
A lot of this is catch-up from the period of austerity that, you know.
What if we get the 2 pumps that need to be repaired, and then wait like 60 days, and then order those others, help get closer to cash flow with Nucor?
Could we get one, we'll get the non-explosion-proof Flight pump, that's a $15,500, and then we'll hold off at 60 days on the purchase of the second pump. Would that be acceptable?
That again will give it time to get that $18,000 capacity fee. And I do think the board should start, especially not right now, we're not seeing the positive cash flow each month, but once we do have that, we should be allocating regularly to that capital fund, not just capacity fees, because we don't expect new users to be coming on board every single, unless we do an enforcement of those 60 or so properties that should be connected. We should start allocating regularly to that capital fund to make it useful.
When is our payment due back to the RDC?
It'll finish in November, so then we will have
Okay,
that.
we have enough time then.
Yeah, and we'll have those, like you said, that funding that's already budgeted that we could start $4,500 a month, just easy to start moving that into the capital fund.
Okay, my question is the suggestion was to possibly buy one at the 15,000 and one at the 11,000.
Right.
And then be able to try the one out, the Liberty pump out. Why don't we buy the Liberty pump first, save $4,000?
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be,
We're gonna try it out
yeah.
anyway.
Yep.
Makes sense to me.
I'd rather buy it now and then spend the 15.
And we'll put that in the,
And that does give you 1 pump as a spare if you have something go wrong, correct?
yeah, essentially.
Second.
Yeah.
I make that a motion to buy the Liberty pump initially, and make a motion for that.
So that was Greg Morrison with the
Greg.
motion.
Yeah, Greg
Board
has a
member.
motion, yeah. So we have a motion and a second to purchase for $11,000, is it the Liberty? sorry, I'm scrolling to find that, the Liberty pump with the adapter flange. You know, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion to that?
Yeah, I just have one question. Mike Warren, member. You mentioned putting one or the other one in a certain place. Does that still solve that part?
Yeah, it does. We'll focus those of the Liberty pumps on the State Road 32 West, and we'll continue. So really, we've involved two different, IPW, we've really kept their involvement to the State Road 32 lift stations, and then Flight, Xylem to the other 3 lift stations, so.
Okay.
If you were in a pickle, would it be interchangeable?
I believe so.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? That motion passes. Thank you.
All right, and 2 last fun items here. The South Lift Station 1B, the one item that we had avoided doing with it being mothballed was a $647 generator repair that we would like to get that approved. And this, the other thing, Cummins, when they did their last service call to the State Road 32 East Lift Station generator, they had recommended repairs of $6,300. There was some electrical issues, some capacitors, and some things internal with those Generac backup generators that we were also, if the district's funds allowed, would want to get that in process as well. That concludes all the repairs that in this report.
So the $600 repair, that one is, we need to get that done right away to make that thing functional.
Yeah.
The other one, how is it like, hey, it's gonna fail if we don't do it in the next 6 months, or can it wait till November when we've got a little more money? Or are we gonna save on a trip charge or something like that?
Yeah, I would think that given the nature of it, it's something that you probably want to have done. And that would come out of the operating, right? So that would be.
And again, we do have sufficient operating funds. It's just, yeah, we should.
Yep.
You said it was 6,000 or 600? I'm sorry.
6,000.
It was
Okay.
one was one and one was the other.
I move that we repair both of those generators. David, board member.
Second. Mike Warren, board member.
We have a motion and a second to approve the repairs for the 2 pumps, approximately $7,000. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion passes.
And the final update would be the cloth filter unit was successfully repaired on April 11th, and that concludes concludes the report.
Thanks, Tom. Just curious, when the towers comes on and we add 25 more EDUs, what percent capacity will we see be used? What does that 25 EDUs represent as far
Yeah,
as
25
percentage of
EDUs
capacity?
technically represents 310 gallons a day per EDU, but those numbers are based before you had low flow toilets and that kind of thing. So you're probably going to see maybe 100 gallons per EDU, maybe
Like
150 at the most.
Not even a percent. So
Yeah.
just trying to gauge, where we are
Yeah.
going with these new companies or any EDU coming on, trying to see what impact, because this month was 48% capacity.
Yeah, and we
so-
could, I think the EDUs have been running at less than 200 gallons per day, and these should be less than that.
Okay.
And so the flow has remained pretty consistent around the 50% capacity, which is good. There's plenty of it.
Excellent. No project updates. There is no new business, old business, public meeting, video, access testing. Chris?
Ongoing, and it seems like it's going well. Thank you all for practicing the mic on, name, mic off. Thank you.
And then up next is the approval of claims. We have claims in the amount of $74,471.77.
So moved, Joyce Grimble, to accept the claims.
Greg Morrison, second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor of approving claims signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose? Claims are approved. Also sign that, and then pass those down. We'll pass the claims down if everybody would sign those. I forgot to do that last time. Up there as well.
You want me to sign it there?
Financial officer.
What if you find out I'm not? Oh, wait, I get to sit in jail 2 days, I forgot.
Make sure you're out on the second Wednesday of the month, though. Yeah,
I get out on Tuesday and Wednesday, right?
well, there is no other business to come for the board, except for we need to stick around for an executive session meeting real quick. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.